Hey all, boardgamerants here, where you'll find everything solo tabletop gaming and more. We're going to discuss Bonfire today. From a solo perspective, I'm going to show you a little bit what it's about. We're going to talk about it on the other side. Here we go. Bonfire. All right, let's have a look at this very attractive looking game. Very colorful. Very juicy fruit looking. Lots of little tiles there, little action tiles. Got cards to grab out there. Got more fun things to grab over here. Whoa. Some resources. Like I said, juicy fruits. Here's my player board. And when you're playing, and this is actually part of it as well. And then the AI has this player board. Very easy to run this AI, which I'll show you in a bit. But what is Bonfire about? Well, very generally we are gnomes, and there was these bonfires that started getting extinguished. And we were like, hey, sup, you know, we need that fire. We need that light to live. Well, the Guardians were in charge of that, and they shut it down because they were unhappy. And now they are represented out here in these island areas. So we have to take on tasks to basically earn their favor, get a seat at this high council, and you earn benefits for that. And then when you're playing solo, once there are 7 seats taken at this high council, the game triggers endgame, and then there's 5 rounds that you'll play. You'll just kind of keep track with these little tokens there. 5 more rounds to play, and then the game's over, and you score yourself in the AI. And so your board here consists of these little tiles here, which give you the action tiles that you start with. That's why I've got a little boat, and I've got one of those things. One of those things, these can be used as any, like a wild. And then over here you have a similar thing with the resources. Is what you pay. You know, you pay to take actions, or have the, you know, power your actions with these. And then these resources are how you actually collect cards or task tiles or stuff. And then you have this little track, this little path track. You start off with your own little guy there, but you're going to get these little paths that look just like this little section here that you can put here, and then work your way around there. You've got these little slots in here that you can fill with tiles as well, to create kind of a link between the path tile and possibly, you know, what you're going to be filling up in here are these tasks that you collect. And that's what you're trying to accomplish, and then you'll be able to flip over those tasks once you complete them to their bonfire side, and that's ultimately what you're trying to do. And the way you're going to score most of your points is by going out here, getting these tasks, and then completing the little doohickey on there. You're going to score that many points at the end of the game, and then you flip it over to its bonfire side. And so, you know, you did the right thing. And then when you do that, you get to use your little guy out here, and he gets to go out there around that council, take a seat, get a benefit, and that is how the game is going to progress. And you're going to score points based on how well out here, you know, you're going to grab your path tiles, and you're going to put them in here. And then, yeah, and then there's these little portals, these little things here, which you have to get in kind of reverse order. So I'd have to start with this symbol, then this symbol, then you slot them right in there. It's kind of nice. It kind of slot right in there. And then that allows you to take, you know, one of your guys and put them here, score more points, but you have to have a little portal there to be able to do that. So you're going to get points for having portals, paths, completed bonfires, and a few other things. But the way you're going to get all that done is by taking these actions. So there's a whole little thing here. Yeah, it's a little much, but ultimately it just shows you, you know, first, how do you get tiles? Well, you take a Band-Aid action, I call it, because that looks like a Band-Aid. But that allows you to take one of these tiles, and then you know, kind of a fun little part of the game here. You get to kind of set this somewhere where hopefully, this is kind of like the worst tile I guess I could have taken. You might take this one. You have to take either the top or the bottom one, and then that allows you to kind of, on your board here, link these things up, put them out a certain way. I'd get a gold resource for covering that up. And then anything adjacent, I'd get 2 of this type of action. and then I'd get 1 tile of that and 1 tile of that. And then as you build out using the Band-Aid action, then you know, that's how you're going to refill your action tiles, which allow you to take more actions. Because you'll be able to take actions, and you're going to have to do the little Band-Aid action to get more action tiles, etc., etc. And these action tiles are what lets you, you know, here's the boat. If you use a boat, you get to move your little boat to the different islands and pick up different tasks. And there's little trails there, so you might need more boats to go farther. So that's the boat action. Then you got this little task action here. Once you reach an island where you want a task, you have to spend those little task action tiles, and then you have to spend certain resources to be able to get those tiles and place them on your board like I was showing you, and then you'll want to complete those tasks over there to turn them into bonfires, which gives you points. Then you've got, here's the guardian action. So you want guardians. So if you end up on an island that has a guardian, then you have to take the guardian action. You can grab it and put it on your board. Those guardians you can move around your path, and that's how you're going to collect resources and stuff. And eventually you want to kind of get them in next to these bonfires and get extra points. But the other thing you can use that tile for is to, is to move them. So once you get them, put them on your board, then you can use those same tiles to actually move them along the paths. And then here, so this allows you to move this great bonfire thing out here. So it's not really attached to anything, it's just a loose thing, but you know, wherever it's pointing, you can take up to two of those actions. So I could take one of these tiles and you know, a little action tile, or I could take one of these and 2 victory points. It's over here. I could take, again, one of these 3 portal tiles, and then, you know, either an action tile or a resource. So this is going to be spinning around, and that's how you use those action tiles to spin it around and grab goodies. And then here is this allows you to get the cards. The cards are a big part of this game. You want to use that action tile to be able to purchase cards here. These are little gnomes that are specialists that help you, give you special abilities. And also too, up here are the end game elders. You usually don't want to collect those till near the end of the game because you score them immediately, so you'll get most points if you wait on those. And then you know, here we've got, if you accomplish certain, there's 5 different kind of generic objectives that you can complete, and then it'll give you a little bonus gnome that you can put out here in the council, and you'll score points for those. You know, if you get all your portals out, all 7 of them, if you get all 7 of your path tiles out, if you get 6 of these little specialist cards, if you get all 5 of the guardians. So over here though, you're going to be competing against the AI. So the AI has its own board, but this is very easy to run, super quick. What you'll do on the AI's turn is you're just going to flip over a card, and it's going to tell you like a little action that tells me that I just spin to this little, you know, spin this bonfire, and then he's going to get a portal, and kind of follows similar rules as far as laying path tiles out. You lay out in clockwise direction. Portals you lay out in counterclockwise direction. Anyway, that's getting into the more meaty rules part of the game. But anyway, you flip this over, does a quick thing, and then it's back to your turn again. And a lot of times you're going to be, okay, let's do the same thing. A lot of times you're going to be flipping these over. It's going to have you flip over one of these gnome cards, and then your action, the action that it takes, is going to depend on the symbol in there, the little resource. So for instance, it would take all the path tiles that have that resource on it. So we'd look up here. Oh, and I stole one from previously. So here's a little path tile section that you can take from. So the AI would grab this path tile and add it to its board because it matches that symbol that this card told me to flip over. So you've got a little deck here that you'll flip over to activate a lot of, wow, I've got a lot of these back to back. I don't know, I shuffled these, I swear. But lots of different actions here. It's going to take task tiles. You know, that one had to do with taking the highest value task tile. This one takes the lowest value task tile. This one's going to have it possibly grab these specialists. And this will have it grab a guardian. And then at the end of the game, you will score how you did against the AI. You'll use this real easy scoring thing. Again, it's going to take into account your bonfires, you know, how many guardians you have next to your bonfires. I think that's what that is. And then if you've got bonfires next to portals, bonfire is equal to the color of the path, yada, yada, yada. So you score points, and then you see if you beat the AI. And that is about it. What do I think of this game? We're about to find out. So, quite frankly, this is not what I expected. I have a limited experience with Stefan Feld games. Castles of Burgundy, I played the main game. I played variations of solo games of it. I've not played the newest one, which I think comes with an official solo variant. But I played the Roll and Ride. I played there's another one. It was a card game. So I played all the Castles of Burgundies for the most part. Loved it. That was kind of my first, what a point salad game is. Trajan, I like better than Castles of Burgundy, I would say. Doesn't look as cool, but it just plays awesome. And it has this cool little rondelle thing. You do this thing with these pillars. Just magnificent. Anyway, so I get to this one, and I'm thinking point salad, and no, it is not. It is not at all what I expected. In fact, it's kind of, after I played through it my first time, I thought to myself, because, it was just after the holidays, and I'd watched A Christmas Story, and you got Ralphie, who is trying to figure out the Ovaltine password, and he's listening to the radio every day, and trying to figure out the code, to figure out what it says, and at the end, it just says something about, don't forget to enjoy your Ovaltine, or whatever. That's that mix, that chocolatey drink mix. I don't even know if they make it anymore. Anyway, and Ralphie's just disappointed. He's like, it's a crummy commercial. And that was kind of my feeling after I played this the first time. Was like, it's just a crummy Euro game. Now, it's not a crummy, but it's good. But it's just in the sea of Euro games, it just struck me as very average, unremarkable, I guess. And the solo variant too was there, and it was very functional, but again, unremarkable. But I guess it also too, it fit. I mean, it does what the game needs to provide you an opponent and swipe things out of there and stuff to mess with your plans a little bit, like a two-player would. But again, it just all felt very ho-hum to me, and I should have looked more into it. I think if I knew that it wasn't a point salad game, then I maybe would have started on the right foot. I know he's got other games out there that are not, like that I've looked at, like Aquasphere and like Luna. Yeah, I think I've seen people draw comparisons, but I don't know. I just never looked into it to make sure, like, is this a point salad game? That's what I was looking for, and this is not. So, that said, it is a fantastic design. I don't know if it's fantastic. Is that the right word for it? I mean, it's well done. Well done, obviously, a person that knows how to design games. Stefan Feld, right? But I would say that if this was my first game of Stefan Feld, he would have been lost in the sea of, I've just played a lot of Euro games, and this would have just been like, another gorgeous looking, real colorful, lots of cool pieces, but the way it plays is just very, just nothing, no sparks were flying while I was playing this game. The setup and teardown is, when you set this game up, it takes a little bit to get all those pieces out there. It's going to take a good 10 minutes or so. The reset, not so bad, maybe about 5-ish, a little over 5 minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes. And it takes up not a huge amount of space. You can kind of jam it all together there like I had. So you got a good 2 foot by 3 foot space. It's got to be kind of on to play solo if you do it right. The length of play when you get rolling is an hour-ish. I only played it about 5 or 6 times, and I won just one of those times, and I think I scored like 65 points. And but it seemed like really quickly you kind of key into, because there's a timer there, and if the AI gets to go through its deck 4 times, it triggers the end of the game. You don't want that to happen because the AI is just going to score a massive amount of points. So kind of very quickly you learn. I feel like you need to shorten that. You need to go and get out to that council, get your little gnomes out there, and put a timer on the game. You don't want the AI to be able to play all their cards. Otherwise, it's just going to score a massive amount of points. Fewer cards it plays, fewer points it scores. So you just got a better chance. So that was kind of I don't know why I find that it's a little off-putting. Just it's just like, oh, I just, got to play the game quicker. You kind of maybe you want to get into it, really. But if you do, I feel like you're probably going to get annihilated by the AI. I did every time, except for, like I said, the time where I was like, I'm going to play quicker and just get my stuff out there to do the smaller tasks and just get out there. And it worked. And it was just kind of like, all right, well, that just, I don't know. Like I said, average. Components, though, not average. Components are beautiful. Oh, they're good looking and nice and colorful, and everything just was top notch. I don't know, top notch, but just high quality. I love it. No complaints there. And for the, I don't know, it was like $60 for the game. Very, very much what I would expect for that game as far as value of components concerned. Theme is, it's you look at it, it looks like there's so much theme, and it's got a cool thing that I actually read online, and it's a little story about the gnomes and the guardians and what is it, and the ancients, and there's this whole background story about this planet being far away from any sun, and so the guardians started up these bonfires to add light, and then created the ancients, and blah 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 blah, and then the gnomes. So you can read this, and it can kind of give you more background into why you're doing what you're doing. But then once you, I don't know, it's just easy to forget the story, and you're just playing the game, and it's just, you got a set of actions like I was showing you with the tiles, and it's just, and then it just goes right back to sort of a, Euro. It's just, so anyway, so the theme was, they put a lot of effort into it, and I kind of got into it, but barely. So, but it was cool to see that effort. I appreciated it. So the rule book was, I think, pretty well done. I didn't have many issues at all. I think the BGG weighting is like over 3.5 on this when I was looking. It does not feel that heavy to me. It feels like a 3, over 3, but it does not feel like a that heavy. So the mechanics, though, and that's why. It's because the mechanics are very clean. Very clean. Each time you're doing a thing, you want to take your boat out and grab a task, you just, I don't know, it's just, there's not a ton of thought it felt like you had to put into each action. It was just more of a race than anything else is what it turned out to be. But the board, I love how you get the action tiles. That's fun. A little Tetris-y kind of thing there, a little just adding things and trying to get things to, and part of the task too was how you build your little board out. And if you can get certain symbols, a certain number adjacent to one another, well, you get more action tiles that way. And it's cool too that you can use any 2 action tiles to take any action. You can use any 2 resources as a resource. So you get a bunch of stuff, and just then, even if it's not stuff you need, you can use 2 to create any action you need. So the mechanics are just, like you said, it's great. It's good. I don't know, I keep saying great, fantastic. I don't know. It's a perfectly fine design. It really is. But it's not a standout design for me. Not at all. So strategy-wise, for the AI, for the solo, when you're playing that, it just seems fairly, after I got through that 5th or 6th play, I was just kind of like, so that's kind of the secret to winning the game, is just not taking my time. And, you kind of find you want to. Maybe I want to get all the path tiles, and I want to get all the, you get points for kind of completing certain actions, if you will. And I don't know, it's just kind of fun to do it all, but you will lose if you try. So anyway, there's a lot of games out there, I guess, like that. But again, there's a lot of games out there like this. That's, I guess, my main problem with this, because it's Stefan Feld, and I wanted point salad, and I didn't get it. But that's on me. I think, though, that this is a perfectly sound solo design, a perfectly sound Euro design, and I think a lot of people who haven't played a lot of games are going to find this to be very enjoyable. I find it enjoyable, and I liked playing it. But if I knew now, or knew now what I wish I'd known then, I could have passed on this very easily, and because it would just be in that sea of mediocre good Euro games with a mediocre good solo design, and I'm looking for the cream of the crop here. This was not it for me, but would it hit a sweet spot for a lot of people? I think so too. I think this has got a good place for the earlier, for a solo gamer who's looking to get into more crunchy, but not over. You know, this is very medium weight feeling game, and it's beautiful to look at and easy to run AI. So it has that going for it for sure. So all that said, that's how I feel about it. That was Bonfire by Stefan Feld. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. I'm boardgamerants, and I'm out!